Calm. All right. So, you guys, I know I have not been consistent with going live on time on Tuesdays, but you know what? I'm here. I just got done with my run, as you can see, right? And I kind of just want to go with the flow. Let me roll these windows up, okay? I kind of just want to go with the flow for just a moment. Um, I was working with someone, and they brought up and okay, right? And so, oh, let me put this on silent. So when they said that they were not broken, it gave me a quick trip down memory lane and made me think about of a time where I used to feel and think, oh my God, I'm broken. Like, what's wrong with me? Why is it that my relationships with family, friends, coworkers, and romantic mates are not going the way it's supposed to go? Why do I keep repeating these cycles like over and over again? What can I do to put a stop to it? Why am I broken? What is wrong with me? And then the word broke was synonymous for me with not knowing value, not knowing worth, and really and truly not understanding value and worth, what it was, what they meant. Like, I looked them up and I just was not clicking, it just was not getting it. But if you say, Tina, is this particular thing valuable? I'd be like, yes. But then when it came to value and looking at myself, I didn't quite understand, right? So now, going back and revisiting on this journey of broken, which I'm going to go back and edit the video comment, right? I'm never going to edit the video. You get what you get. But with the edit, I'm going to put in there the copy paste that I actually shared with several people, and I'm so glad to have these conversations with people that inspire me to bring knowledge even to myself. So what I decided to do was, I absolutely love looking up words. I went to the 1828 Webster Dictionary, which is one of my go-tos when I get stuck. When I look it up in Google, or I look it up on another search engine, or I look it up in a dictionary, and I just cannot for the life of me say this is not resonating, I go to that 1828 Webster Dictionary. Shout out to my son, Tamir, who introduced me to the book. But when I went in and I read, right, because you gotta use your discernment on what is going to stand out to you, right? And what stood out to me was one of the very first things it said was not departed, but it is departed. I'll say it, departed from violence, right? But the dictionary actually said parted from violence. And to me, I took that and I flipped it and I made it my own. And I said, so being broken means to be parted, separated from, moved away from unpleasant experiences, right? So if you are broken, that means to me that you had the strength and the courage to see that you are valuable and you are worthy of having a pleasant and blissful experience in your life, right? And so what that says to me, when I hear broken, is when people say, I'm broken. To me, what I'm hearing you say is, I have finally made a decision in my life to move away from those experiences that are unpleasant, that are no longer serving me in my life. And I'm on the pathway and the journey of making great and wonderful decisions, right? And so I feel very happy for those people. So when I hear people say broken, and they are using that the old definition, which the old definition is synonymous with what is it synonymous with? Sadness, disappointment, there's something wrong with me, am I not enough, all of these affirmations, because what you say you are, all of these affirmations that are not healthy, that are not healthful nor helpful, right? So when you're saying all these things about broken, my challenge to you is to say, you know what? Maybe the brokenness that I feel is not necessarily a bad thing, because the brokenness, maybe the separation from a person, maybe the separation from a situation, maybe the separation from that job, maybe the separation from something, right? Sometimes separation is not always a bad thing. Sometimes separation is protection from an experience or a person that you don't need to have in the first dang place, right? But the first thing we think about when we don't understand our own value, or some people say if you have a self-esteem issue, right? And self, the term self, if you look it up, right? I went to Google and they had the most wonderful, unless it's changed, but they had the most wonderful description, which self is an essential being, right? You are an essential being. So with you being an essential being, and you have to have that esteem, first you have to have it for yourself. Now, to me, we could dive down this rabbit hole. I'm not gonna go all the way down. I'm just gonna peek my head in. Okay. So the rabbit hole for me when it comes to self-esteem is the very first place I had to start with was feeling abandoned, right? Feeling like there's not anybody around me that can really help me the way that I need help or love me the way I need love. And of course, like what I said earlier, what you think you are, right? If you think that, then that's what you are. That's what it is. But what to me abandonment meant to me is someone is not caring about me, and because someone is not caring about me, that means I don't have the ability to care for myself because I need their outside influence in order for me to feel better, right? And I've been really heavy on who is influencing you, who is your outside influence, right? Some people need their coworkers or other mentees and mentors, and all of that is great. That is great and that is wonderful. And I'm not saying I don't need outside influences, but when you become codependent on that outside influence, then this is where the problem can be, right? And let me explain. So my friend, shout out to T. Lachelle, right? She gave me two definitions of codependent. I absolutely love her two definitions. The one definition of codependent is the ability to depend on someone to co-create, right? The ability, hey Terrence, the ability on someone to co-create positively, teamwork, right? That is positive codependency. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, what she said is the psychological, right, is the one we're used to, is when you are so dependent on someone to function that when they are not in your presence, you cannot function. Right, on the psychological level, you can't do it. Right, you get used to that person's presence. You get used to the, you're that person that when you come home, where are you, how, you get caught up in all of this. Right, that's the type of codependence I am not talking about. Right, that is what we don't want. Right, so when you're talking about being broken, to me, this goes in alignment with feeling abandoned, which means feeling like nobody is caring about you and you don't know how to care about yourself. And so it matters that this person is not in your life, right? And you don't understand why. That's what the abandonment is representing to me, right? When you have that abandonment issue, the next thing that you have to work on is self-approval, right? I can't see that name down there. Co-creating codependence. Let's see. Like that word version. Hey, Sean. Uh, so you have to work on when you have that abandonment issue, right? And I had it also, the when you had that abandonment issue, the reason why it hurts so bad is because of what I just explained. So, right? Often when we have that person that is not in our life, whether you admit it or not, and I'm not saying seeking approval is a bad thing. Again, there are limits to all of this, right? But if you are seeking approval from someone, like say for instance, and I'll use myself as an example, right? It's hot. I'm going to open this door. Say for instance, right, with me, my biological father really didn't know who he was. And he had another child from my understanding, later in life. So I became resentful towards her because I was like, oh my God, she got to have this opportunity with my dad and I didn't get it. And why didn't he choose me and all this other kind of stuff, right? And, so what ended up happening was I started seeking approval in men. I started looking for male father figures, right? That could fill that spot. And again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, right? Because it's good to have a positive male role model, right, in your life. But what ended up happening was because I was seeking their approval, because I wanted a father figure or I wanted a man, and my grandfather had passed, right? And I didn't really have relationships with men in my life that kind of lead and guide me, right? Um, so once I started seeking approval in these men, right, I couldn't find these older men to be father figures. So who did I start seeking approval in? Relationships, my romantic relationships with men, right? I started to value their opinion more than my female counterparts, right? I started seeking their approval. Oh, do you think I'm being good? In other words, that little girl in me was like, do you think I did a good job? Am I doing good? Like, right? And if you ain't never been there, then this message is not for you. But if you have been there, then listen up. It took me 2016 when I attended a wonderful program called Avatar. You just got to look it up, right? And when I attended that program, one of the things I put on my list was the feeling of abandonment and anger that I had towards my biological father. Okay. They tell you to put 10 things on the list, and I put 10 things on the list, and they were like, what do you want to work on first? And I was like, you know what? I want to work on this easy thing. Let's go ahead and get this knocked out with my biological father because that's going to be easy to knock out, right? This is how I came to understand and know that I was still angry at him, for one, and for two, I did not understand why he made the choices he made, right? And just to take it a step further, I'm going to share this too. A lot of the people in my life, and this is why I had to fix me, and there's nothing wrong with this, but the type of people I attracted in my life also felt abandoned by one parent or another. Even if they had two parents, or even if they still had one parent, they still had that. And also I attracted people that were also adopted as well, right? Because most of those people, and I'm not talking about the people that are at peace. I'm talking about the people that still had a little work to do, right? They were feeling that sense of abandonment that I was feeling. I didn't recognize it till I went through this process at Avatar and discovered that I was still seeking approval and I still felt a certain type of way. Now, we all know that Tina is intuitive, and much like most of you that are watching this, you're intuitive too. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this. You already understand, right? So I had the experience of being able to visualize and see my father, right? When I was able to visualize and see that clairvoyantly, let me say clairvoyantly, I was able to see that, right? I could kind of see that he was in a hospital bed. I didn't really understand what was going on. Later on, I went back and I spoke with my mother. And when I spoke with my mother, this is where the healing came in for me. Because sometimes we don't understand why people make the decisions they make in their life, right? We're only concerned about us. I never had compassion for my father. I never had understanding towards him, right? After I spoke with my mother said, your father was in Vietnam, and when he came back, he just was not the same, right? The experiences he was going through, and back then they really didn't know a lot about PTSD and how to treat it. And so back then he said, I really don't know how to be the right father. I'm not sure because he's got all this stuff going on in his head. And so at that time, he chose to separate himself, right? Now, this is all going back to the word broken that we started with, right? Parted from violence, right? Parted from violence, broken, right? He did not know at that time how to separate that. And he didn't know how to get that help to separate all those experiences that he had in Vietnam. He didn't know how to separate it and not bring it home. So he made the choice to separate himself, to separate me and my mother from the violence that he had experienced that was replaying in his head. Does that make sense? So for me, once I learned that, is all that it was almost like all that anger kind of went away for me. And I'm not saying this is true for everybody, but sometimes you got to understand the choice, right? He wasn't necessarily choosing to not be in my life. He was choosing to not give me and my mother unpleasant experiences because he didn't even know how to help himself. This is why for me, learning how to help myself is so important, right? Because if I don't learn how to help myself, how can I help others? I got to help me first. And it's very unfortunate that by the time I finally found him and my mom helped me find him, by the time I finally found him, he had already passed away and transitioned, right? But it was good for me to learn that sometimes the choices that people make to not be in your life have absolutely nothing to do with you, and it's not personal. It's not personal. And I know there's going to be somebody that say, no, it's personal because they chose not to be around me. Maybe sometimes the reason why the person is not there is because the person is choosing to protect you, whether it is by choice or by force. And you guys know I normally always talk about choice, but on this, sometimes it is by force. And I feel like it was both. It was both for my father. It was both by choice and by force. Because if you feel like you don't have the ability to be able to not give somebody unpleasant experiences, I mean, to me, I'm going to give you Purple Heart on that, Dad. I'm going to give you Purple Heart because you did what you needed to do to protect us, right? So going back to that, the broken part, right? We talked about the word broken. We talked about how it means, for me, it means parted by violence, which was in the Webster 1828 dictionary, which in tune, broken means what? What did I say? Are y'all taking your notes? Are you taking your notes? Broken means that you made the choice and you have the ability to separate yourself from unpleasant experiences in your life. That's what it means, right? So when you say I'm broken, yeah, I broke away from the unpleasant experience that I had in my life. That's the way that I am going to receive it. When you say you're broken, we're not going to go through those, those sadder vibrations when it comes to broken. We're not going to lower our value, lower our worth. We're not going to feel bad that we made a choice to save ourselves. You like that? Thank you, Terrence. That's what it's about. I used to watch Kimberly Pothier, and she wrote a book called Beautifully Broken. I've never written it, but I always remember that title, Beautifully Broken, because that is what I think about, right? I mean, we go through so much and we are way too hard on ourselves. So check this out, y'all. Shameless plug real quick, right? I have created so many programs and so many challenges, right? What I want to share with you is this, the opportunity to have a one-on-one experience. And at first I was like, just readings, but maybe you need to have a conversation. Maybe there's something deeper that you need. For the month of June and July 2023, for 30 minutes, I will be doing $50 for 30 minutes sessions. You want a reading, we can do a reading. You need a let go session, we can do a let go session. If you need a little bit of coaching, I got you. If you just want to sit there and vent, I got you for 30 minutes for $50 for the month of June and July, right? Okay. What'd you say? Is very good and useful information. Good, good. So sometimes when I'm saying this, I feel like I'm all over the place, but I'm glad that it always makes full circle, right, for everybody. So I will be back. Make sure that you guys, what is it? Hit the subscribe, hit the like, make sure you share, tag people, set your notifications, the little bell, whatever it is that you need to set so that when I start going live on here again, I want you guys, I'm going to start coming on here from time to time and start pulling cards. I wanted to pull cards today, but I had to go with what was on my mind at this moment. So I need you guys to do me a favor. I need you to help me to build up my YouTube and my TikTok subscriptions. I'm going to start going live. I went live on Facebook yesterday, something I haven't done in a long time, but I would much prefer to go live on YouTube. And I'm going to start doing card pulls and intuitive readings. Matter of fact, before I get out of here, if it's somebody real quick want to give me a color, I'll do a quick intuitive read on that, just because I'm feeling generous and I'm wanting to dust the cobwebs off, because this is why I'm giving my special pricing, because I'm coming back out to work. So somebody give me a color and I'll give you an intuitive read. I'm going to do this disclaimer first. This is for entertainment purposes only. During the reading, I may understand, you may not. You may understand, I may not. We both may understand during the reading, or we both may not understand during the reading. I'm going to ask that you respect my perspective, and I will also respect your perspective as well. If the information that I'm providing is different from what you're receiving, it's quite all right. Please share the message, because it may be for me or someone else. Please do not use these readings as a form of therapy or advice. You've been blessed. Heart emoji with the gift of discernment. So take the information you need, throw the rest away. Let's see. Terrence said red. Ooh, okay. So, Sean, you got green. Okay, I got you next. Anybody else want to color? This is the time to do it while I'm feeling generous. So, Terrence, for the color red, the first thing I see is I kind of see you in warrior mode. You're surrounded by, I want to say, darkness, because it's black, but then I also see red and orange flames. The red and orange flames is coming from the dragon, so I'm going to encourage you to look up dragon spirit animal, unless you already know what that represents. And I see you in, like, you have like that old school, I want to say Roman, but you got that old school warrior suit on. You don't have on a helmet. Why don't you have on your helmet of protection? That's how people can attack you psychically. You need to put your helmet on. But you do have a sword, and you have on the armor, the shield covering your chest. Now, to me, the sword always represents cutting through the bullshit, right? It represents cutting through the bullshit, and the shield is to shield your heart. Here's the thing. You're shielding your heart, maybe even a little bit of your throat, right? But you're not shielding your mind. I'm glad you're shielding your heart, but if you shield your mind, your heart is gonna follow. It used to be the heart led, and this is why you're protecting, is because you don't want to lead with your heart, right? But you need to protect this, and then this will follow. Does that make sense? Okay. So what you're fighting against right now, what I see in the dragon, you said what? You say you have two dragon spirits that come to me. Perfect. But what I see one dragon, and the one dragon is trying to talk to you and holler at you. The other dragon is upset. This is where the fire is coming from, because the one dragon is like, man, you have all these powers, you have all these abilities. I'm giving you absolutely everything that you need, and you fighting me. I'm gonna give you what you need, and you trying to fight me. What's up? And I feel like you're fighting for prosperity, which is your goal. But what the dragon wants you to know is that you are, is he two-headed? Anyway, the one dragon, what he wants you to know is that you don't have to fight for your prosperity. It's already there, right? And this is prosperity in love and life and monetary and material. You're fighting. You fight. You don't have to fight. You don't have to fight. Just put the sword down. Put the sword down. Stop worrying about protecting your heart so much. It's you're already protected. Just get your mind organized. You have everything you need. You have everything you need. Okay. The other dragon, he was, spewing that orange and red fire. What, the red from him was anger, but the orange from him is, I'm trying to spit this creativity into you. I don't know if you lost yourself at some point. um and so he's trying to spew this creativity into you, so just embrace it. Just embrace it. That's what I got. That's what I got. Yes, it's been on my mind a lot, and I'm working to not fight. Yeah, stop fight. Just relax. You got it, Black Angel. All right, Sean. Sean says green. Okay. Anybody else want a color while I'm doing readings? This is the time. Okay. Sean, you want green? So green, honey. I just feel go, 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 go. Like, yes, go. Live life, have fun, and go, and go, and go. And I'm like getting chills, like, and it's hot as hell out here, so we know that it's not, it's not that. So what I'm being reminded of, there's this older gentleman that I massaged a long time ago, and he says, "Have you ever heard of the goals?" And I'm like, "What you mean? What is the goals?" Right? The GO apostrophe S, the goals. What is the goals? So the goals are, you have three stages in life. This is what this is the impression he left on me. You have the go-go stage, which is where you're able to get up, you're physically able to go, you can move around, you can do all the things that you want to do. Then you got the slow go, right? The slow go stage in your life is where you can actually still get up, you can actually still do some things, the thing be thing, and you can still do some things, but not like you did when you was in the go-go stage, right? Then you have the no-go stage, right? Now, the no-go stage is when you are capacitated either through your mind, where you don't have the ability to go, or even slow go, right? Or you are physically capacitated where you cannot go. You can't even slow go. Not only can you not go, but you can't slow go, right? And so right now, for me, the green represents the go, but I feel like you kind of fluctuate through all three stages. So here's what's coming through to me. When you hit the no-go stage, I told my friend the other day, I'm gonna send you 1/3 of a teaspoon of my energy. Just if you want that, right? You can have that, Sean. So when you get in that no-go stage, heart emojis, and this is what I want you to remember. Only you have the ability to pull yourself out. Only you have the ability to pull yourself out. And I'm not talking about your physical, can be, but I'm not even talking about the physical. I'm talking about the mental capacity. A lot of the times, the mental capacity for you when you get in that no-go stage where you don't feel like doing shit, it's not even because of you. Remember, you are empathic, right? Remember, you are empathic because it's the outside influences that's affecting your moods. Girl, been there, done that. So this is what I want you to do. Okay. Whatever protection you build around yourself, whether it's a bubble or a wall. Me, myself, I have a big invisible, because I want to be able to see. I don't want it bricked in and all that. I have an invisible 100-foot in circumference around me, energetic bubble. So if somebody tries to come poke on it, I'm going to see you coming, and I'm going to know what's coming. And remember, you're intuitive, so you know when these people are coming your way. No go, no go, no go. I see you doing like this and telling somebody, right? Make sure you're keeping those boundaries in place. You've got one, two, three. You've got three people that be trying you, girl. You got three people that be trying you. They be testing your patience. One of them, you feel like you, I mean, I can't really do nothing about that. They there. The other two, as long as you set boundaries with the other two, I think you'll be okay. But that one person, that's gonna be your challenge. That one person is gonna be your challenge because they feel entitled. I don't know if this is a family member or somebody that feels like they're your kid. It's kind of got kid energy, and they feel like they're entitled to you. Um, they're very, I don't know if they're young. I'm hearing young in spirit and young in the mind. I don't know if that necessarily means that they are a young individual, but they are young in spirit and they are young in mind, and they feel entitled to you. They feel like you owe them something, and you feel obligated to them sometimes. And the problem is when you feel obligated, they put you in that no-go stage. They put you in the no-go stage. You allow them to put you in the no-go stage. And so it changes and shifts your whole entire mood, right? Um, I feel like it's really kind of a struggle to create a boundary with that person. And that's just something that you're going to have to make a choice to work on. So here's what I got for you for boundaries. Okay. So, what you say this is on? Oh, okay. So, okay. So here's what I got for you. Let's see. We can do a little word magic. Oh, I gotta finish my class. Y'all gonna have to come to my word magic class. So let's do a little word magic. And if anybody wants a color, I'm gonna do an intuitive read for you. I want you to think about the word boundary and what it means, right? Boundary doesn't mean keeping people out. Boundary doesn't mean sacrificing my happiness. Doesn't mean sacrificing my happiness. Boundary means I respect myself. Boundary means I am making a choice for you to respect me, right? Because I respect myself. Because I have a boundary in place, it does not mean, just because I have the boundary in place, does not mean that I do not love you, right? It does not mean, oh, this person thinks that you're cakewalking through life. Because when you are in your go-go stage, they like, oh, she cakewalking, she having too much fun. You need to come over here. If you're gonna have fun, I need to have fun. It's the entitlement for me. It is okay. So you need to work on the word entitlement. Is your homework if you should so choose, and anybody's watching. The entitlement is what I want you to look that word up. I love when if you look up Google, nothing resonates or whatever. I want you to go to the 1828 dictionary. You can just type in 1828 Webster dictionary and look that word up, right? I swear my son introduced me to that and it is magical. You got to work on that word entitlement, and you got to work on shifting and changing the word boundary. Okay. If you need help and you need to go deep on that, like I said, for the month of June and the month of July, I have a special going for $50. Okay. For 30 minutes with me. And we can do a session. We could do a reading session. We could do a let go session. We could do, brainstorm, whatever it is that you need for that 30 minutes. I got you for $50 for the month of June and July. But you definitely need to work on your boundaries. Changing, before you even work on your boundaries, change what boundary means to you. And the same thing with the entitlement, because the person feeling like they're entitled to you is what's lowering your vibration and putting you in the no-go stage. And honey, right now you in the go-go. You are in the go-go. You're not even in the slow go. So you're going between the go-go and the no-go, but it's the outside influence. Okay? Hopefully that helped you. Let me go down here. Watching this is hitting it, and I'm in a slight no-go stage. And I'm working. Girl, get up out that damn thing. If you need help, I got you. All right. Just being me. Hi, just being me. Yellow. Okay. All right. Just was it? Just being me. First of all, I love the name. Okay, yellow. Yellow is definitely my color. But just for me, for you, um the color yellow is kind of like a roller coaster ride. Like you go up and down with it, right? I feel like you use the color yellow to balance. I feel like you use yellow up here in your head with your thoughts, because you're like, I got to keep my thoughts happy. I got to keep my thoughts happy. I got to keep my thoughts happy. But when I think about yellow for you, I think about yellow in the solar plexus, right? Your soul. So it's like you got your soul up here and it's supposed to be down here. You got the soul up here. It's supposed to be. What is your belief system? That's the first thing I think is, what is your belief system? That's the first thing I want to know is, what is your belief system? Because I feel like you're kind of all over the place. You got, like, you go over here, you got one over here, one over here, one over here, and you take from here, here, here. You take wherever you need to get to what you need. And I feel you. I'm the same way, honey. If I need to holler at Buddha, Muhammad, Jesus, who, Pele, whatever, I'm gonna get the energy and the motivation, Kuan Yin, from anybody that I need to. But what is your one main source of belief? What is your main practice? Because everybody, even though we may be open to other avenues, everybody has a main source. And I kind of feel like you haven't really chosen like one just yet. Okay, you say spiritual. Okay, so perfect. Let's this explains to me why you're all over the place. All right. So two things. When somebody tells me spiritual, right? Connections with presence. I like that. So for me, when somebody says I'm spiritual, what that tells me, this is my personal definition. Spiritual means that I am currently working on myself to improve and better myself. Right? Right. Okay. Now, okay, there we go. I'm back. So spiritual means that I'm currently working on improving myself, right? When we talk about religious practices or rituals, right? This is the part that I'm talking about. Now, if what you're going to say is I'm not religious, then I'm going to challenge you, right? Because everybody, I don't care who you are, has a religious practice or a ritual that they practice religiously. Okay, now hear me out for just a second before you disagree. Religious practices and the people that you choose to be around, for me, what that represents is I am around religiously, right? In a cult, C-U-L-T, right? Just to me, a cult means a group of people that believe the same way, right? And if you are spiritual, I'm pretty sure that you have people that are around you that practice the same or similar way that you do, right? For example, say I like strawberries, right? And so I'm going to hang around people that like strawberries. We all eat strawberries 3 times a day. because we believe if we eat strawberries 3 times a day, then we're going to be healthy and well. Okay. Um, Now, with the ritual, because that's what that is, that's a ritual, but it is also a practice that I do, right? I'm going to eat these strawberries 3 times a week. I'm going to hang around people that also eat these strawberries 3 times a day, right? So this is a religious practice. What is it that you practice? And you don't have to answer this, but what is it that you are practicing religiously? And who is it that you are around that is giving you a core benefit? In order for you to streamline, and you may or may not disagree, but in order for you to streamline what you're currently trying to manifest, you're gonna have to pick an avenue, right? Doesn't mean you have to stay with it for the rest of your life, but you are gonna have to pick an avenue, because what happens is you're like, okay, this particular thing is gonna help me, and then when this particular thing is not working fast enough, you switch gears, and then you like, I'm gonna go over here, and then you switch gears again, and you like, I'm over here. So you got all of these different people trying to work on this manifestation, this life that you're creating, but because you're not sticking with the one person or the one choice, you're not able to receive some of the confirmations that are coming through, that what you're praying, meditating, or asking for is on the way. This is why the first thing for me that's coming up is belief. Hopefully this is making sense, right? And choosing one thing doesn't mean you have to stick with it. I'll use myself for example. I believe in God. My definition of God is the creator of the heavens, the earth, all this in between, me, you, birds, trees, everything, universe, all of everything, right? That is it at the core of my belief, right? That is my first go-to. And then I'm like, okay, who out here? Because just like in life, right? When you go to work, you have the manager, right? You go to the manager and the manager tells you, hey, this is what you need to do. This is not my department. Go to this person over here, right? It is the same thing with your belief system. Going to whatever your core thing is, and then going out the other way. Everybody can't be your core. I mean, they can if that's what you want. But for me, with this color yellow, this is what's coming through for you. You gotta pick one place. You gotta pick one place to start. If you want to change later on, that's cool. But the source of where you are when it comes to your religious practices and the rituals that you have, you got to be consistent with at least one thing, because you're not paying attention. You're asking all these different sources and they're all trying to help you. But by the time they're like, hey, I got this for you, you done moved on to the next one. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Let me see what it says. Tina helped me with the term religious and turned it into power. Yes. Let's smash the thumbs up and share. This is power from it. Yes, please do. Please do. So that's what I have, just being me, for the color yellow. And start wearing the color yellow a lot. I don't know if you know who this is, but this is what's popping in my mind. I'm just gonna go with it. Oshun, right? Don't know much about her, heard her name. Definitely know she's associated with the color yellow. And there is a goddess, Bridget. I see the card popping up in my head, Bridget, right? So maybe these are the two that you need to go to for guidance to figure out where your main source is coming from. Figure out your main source. As soon as you unlock that door, everything gonna come flooding in. I want to say, I promise you. I'm just gonna fuck it. I promise you. You have to figure that one thing. If you don't, and if it takes you a while to figure it out, it's okay. It took me a while to figure it out, but you got to do that. All right. Anybody else want a color? Anybody else want a color reading? Thank you, just being me. Now, you guys, for the month of June and July, I am doing readings for $50 for 30 minutes. We can do oracle card readings, tarot card readings. We can do the intuitive readings. We can do color readings. We can do a let go session. If you're not certain what a go session is, when you book your session, I can tell you what that is. Oh, excuse me. I've been running. The burp is coming up, right? Let me see. Mama and Bridget, wife of Baron Samadi. Oh, maybe you need to hit up Terrence so he could tell you, or you could research. Cause I don't know who that is. That's above my pay grade. See, like right now, how I'm referring you to whoever that is. I'm gonna let that happen. All right. Anybody else want to color before I go? Cause it's hot over here, and my neighbor's dog is staring me down like I'm doing something to him in his life, and I'm not. Um, I don't know who the tea drinker is, but whoever you are, I'm feeling jasmine tea. I also have jasmine tea going in here. Um, look up the spiritual meaning of jasmine. Whoever this is, I feel like look up the spiritual meaning of jasmine to see where your placement is. I don't know if you're dealing with an astrology chart. I don't know how jasmine fits into your astrology chart, but apparently jasmine fits in somewhere in your astrology chart. This is, again, above my pay grade. If it's somebody on here that's good with natal charts, please put their information and please tag them, because that is not my department. Not yet anyway. It's not my department. Terrence, are you still, Black Angel, are you still doing crystals, jewelry? Are you doing other work? If so, put your website information on there. Terrence, that's my homie right there. Um, back in the day, right? You see, yeah. Just me and me. You said who? I don't know what part of who. I don't know what part of who. I don't know what part of who. Um, because I think your message is coming in delayed after. All right, you guys. I appreciate you guys coming on here. Make sure you turn on your notifications. I'm going to start coming live here more often. Going to start doing a little bit more readings. And I want you guys to go to my website, bookwithtina.com. And I want you guys to book your sessions for the month of June and July for $50 for 30 minutes. That's what I'm doing, because I'm coming back. I've been gone for a little while. So now I'm coming back, okay? I love you guys. I hope today's session helped you. Make sure that you share, like, tell people about it, because the only way people are going to know about me is if you tell them. All right. I love you guys. Y'all have an awesome and amazing day. Make sure that you compliment at least 10 people a day, because you never know whose life you can change. You never know whose vibration you can raise up. And you never know what door of opportunity you can open up by simply paying a compliment. Miss you a lot. We got to catch. Yes, we do have to catch up soon. Love you guys. Heart emojis to the world. And remember, book your sessions. And I got you. Heart emojis. Get out there and get to work.